You work at a grocery store and you know that the food stamps is not working in November and you see people stealing and you snitch, you deserve to die.
Y'all better lock y'all cars at night, lock your cars, lock your house up. If you're one of them people that just leave your car unlocked, parked in your driveway, you better lock it. With the food stamps being gone and people not gonna have no, people gonna eat, okay? Nobody's just gonna, this is 2025, nobody's just not gonna eat. Food stamps, I'm telling you right now, even with the government shutdown and the food stamps and stuff being gone for next month, and it's gonna affect everybody, there's about to be a lot of stuff.
Before we get into the next clip, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Just wanted to flag that at the beginning. I know it's easy to forget. I forget all the time, but it only takes a second. Only takes a millisecond, and it actually helps me out more than you know. So if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Now let's go ahead and get back into it.
For single mother of two, Brianne Stevenson, every month starts the same, checking the balance on her SNAP card, planning meals, and budgeting for baby formula and groceries. But this month, that routine was shattered.
I called my food stamp card on the 1st of the month. It says it was pending $975. And I waited for the 4th of the month went to the store, and it says $0 on there.
Her benefits stolen in an out-of-state transaction she didn't make. A call to the state's hotline confirmed what she feared. She'd been a victim of SNAP fraud. For single mother of
I didn't get a phone call on my appointment, and I didn't get a letter saying that I was terminated.
Nearly 5 months later, and Angela Briggs, after having her food stamps reinstated, is once again without. Now she's frustrated, wondering how she'll feed her 2 boys.
Balance is $0.
Briggs lives in South Memphis, a part of the Bluff City with limited healthy and affordable food options.
It's no grocery stores. I stay in the heart of South Memphis. I don't have transportation to go to like the food pantry, and the food pantry don't deliver.
Briggs says she's dealing with the same issues once again. Denied benefits, with little to no communication from the proper authorities. These are issues state officials at the start of the year said they were working to fix.
They reached out to an outside vendor to bring them on to help them just move the calls, answer the calls, move the calls, answer the calls.
But now,
how would they like if they benefits went on their card to feed their family? I didn't.
She lives in Memphis. If you all don't know anything about Memphis, they said South Memphis too. It ain't no joke. But they mentioned that the grocery stores are closed down. They've pretty much left the town. Why do we think that is? Because what were they saying at the beginning of the clip they was gonna do? If you try to do something, the light-skinned woman said she was gonna, I don't even know if I can say it on YouTube, but basically unalive somebody, or they deserve to be unalive. The other person saying lock your doors, etc., etc. So when we're doing this type of crime in these areas, then what do you think happens? They just say, this ain't worth it. We're leaving. We'll go somewhere else. See, it's funny, right? Because a lot of people have a skewed view when it comes to business owners, or really just anybody who's doing well off in life. It's a bad perception that's been marketed that they're the bad people, right? But as you can see, just by them doing business and bringing their business to certain places actually helps out communities, just in them bringing it there and making a profit. But ultimately, what it comes down to is going in here stealing. You see the first 2 clips we watched, they're trying to be on code. The bottom line is, you're going to have to start snitching. We're going to have to start snitching. Otherwise, you see what happens, and it affects you personally for people you're trying to protect. It's just that simple. We got to get over that. Because, see, I'm going to be very clear. I'm going to be plain and clear. You think I'm just talking about my tax dollars when it comes to government assistance? My tax dollars go to law enforcement as well. All of that. And I'm going to utilize every bit of the privilege I get for pouring in FYE taxes. Listen, got to get over that. You're limiting yourself, and at this point, hurting yourself, because now you can't even go to the neighborhood grocery store, you gotta go 45 minutes down the road to get your groceries.
I'm gonna tell y'all straight the fuck up, bitch, and I'm dead fucking serious. Like I'm dead ass. So look at me as I look at y'all as I'm fucking talking. I just got that fucking text, and that fucking text said the link is cut off in November before my motherfucking kids go without. Before my kids go without and don't have shit and be hungry and broke as fuck, I have shit to eat in their stomach. I'm gonna go in every store possible there is and get everything that I regularly get. I'm gonna put it in the motherfucking basket and I'm gonna take it. Don't get the pressing no charges, try to stop me and block me and hold me at the door. I know that. So since the link is cut off and the government want to get shut the down, I'm gonna go in the store regularly like I do if I had my motherfucking food stamp card. I'm gonna load my cart up one by one, pick my items out like I'm regularly shopping, and I'm gonna push that cart right the fuck out the building with me.
Boy, he acting just like his mama. I'm just playing. But he's acting emotional, is what I'm saying. He's acting very emotional as opposed to acting in a more masculine way and coming up with a better solution than that. That was a horrible solution. So you're just gonna act emotional and just do all the things you want and basically throw a temper tantrum, not only online, but then you're gonna go in the store, which I don't believe him. See, when people are getting this animated and acting like this, these are the people I believe the least. So he's ultimately just acting emotional, whereas he should be thinking a little bit more and evaluating what his options are and what type of things he can do. And funny enough, I think what he'll find is that there's some time left in his day that he can just go out there and get it and work a little bit more and be the hero, right? Save the day. That's your job. But that solution that you're coming with that I often see, which is immediately resorting to criminality, that's not going to work, especially long term.
And I know y'all won't admit this because I know how y'all are, but y'all aren't really outraged that the food stamps and EBT shit is about to get shut down. Y'all are really outraged because now you're gonna have to take the money you normally buy weed, wigs, bundles, get your nails done. Y'all are gonna have to take those funds and buy food now. And don't say I'm lying because when y'all were receiving food stamps, you were selling the food stamps. So you want your children men. But all of a sudden now, you're outraged. Oh my God, like, why we gonna feed our kids the same way you've been feeding them? Sleeping with that man. Get a few funds from him. Keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't been worried about them kids and their well being, but all of a sudden now, you are. Okay.
An income, and it's kind of rough right now. So we applied again for benefits. Gross income, we don't qualify. Net income, we would have qualified. Why do they always go based off the gross of what you make with taxes or before they take out taxes, but they don't go with the net, what you actually take home after the government takes money from you? You're allowed to make money for the government, but you're not allowed to put any of it back in your pocket.
So y'all, my mama just called me and she said she was on her way home from picking up her prescriptions. And so she decided to stop at I think either the Dollar General, Family Dollar, one of the two, because she needs to pick up some plastic bags. And she was like, I was walking in there, and she was like, oh, and I was about to, I had to turn around because it was a long, long line of people. I don't do lines. She was like, it was a long, long line of people, and it was all white people. I was like, Mom, what they was buying? She was like, look like groceries, look like food. I said, that's because that EBT hit. She said, what? What's that? I said, that's food stamps, Mom. Yeah. Them people got their food stamp. She was like, you think? You think that's what they had? I was like, yeah. It's the beginning of the month. Then people end up spending that money on them food stamps while they still got it.
I actually understand her reaction, her mom's reaction, because Yeah, well, if you don't know, you don't know. Like a lot of my life, I didn't really know about it, but I would see people where they'd be in the store and they wouldn't necessarily look like they were doing well, for lack of better words. They look poor, but they were filling up their carts. And I did used to see that and think like, wow, like can't judge a book by its cover. I'm like, I guess they just choose to come out the house, with their bonnet on and their pajamas, looking homeless. But apparently they must have a good job or something. I never really knew about it, until the fact that it's on my radar lets you know how viral all this stuff is going just from people coming online, bragging about it, throwing it in people's face, laughing. But going back to net gross lady, right? Y'all remember the one who was talking about um, that basically had she had they gone off her net income, she'd have qualified, but because they go off gross income, she didn't qualify. I guess she doesn't understand ratios and proportions. It wouldn't have qualified anyway. But I get what she's saying, so we don't have to try to split hairs with that. I get what she's saying, but there's a good and a bad. There's pros and cons that come with net and gross income, right? Because usually when you apply for a rental apartment or a home or whatever, and they go off your W-2 income and they say you have to make 3 times the rent, then they actually do go off your gross income, right? So that would be a situation where it would actually help you. But of course, in this situation, it hurts you. How I think about taxes just in general, I think just in general, it sucks, right? The fact that, especially I would say a lot more things go off the gross on the con side than the pro side. The rental property example is just, that might be the only example I could think of when the gross actually helps you. Maybe when you're trying to buy a house or something, it's usually to try to get some shelter, or maybe, to borrow some more money, to owe some more money. But I can see what she's saying with that. It makes it hard when you have so much taxes coming out and then you have to try to live, right? You have to try to live based on real costs.
Family. So I see a lot of people upset because food stamps and Medicaid may potentially get cut. Here's my take on it. So what? A lot of y'all been on food stamps for going on 10, 15 years. Y'all have made no changes at all to y'all income situation because you know damn well in order for you to receive government assistance, you need to be below the poverty line. So here's the thing. It would be different if you got government assistance for a short period of time, and while you were getting this government assistance you took the initiative to either get in a class, maybe elevate within your resume so that way you could get a better job. And then once you got to the point to where you make enough money to be able to disconnect from the system, you then had more children, or you then decided that, you know what, I don't need the system in my pocket, I don't need to be a part of it anymore. I've gotten food stamps before, but it was when I didn't have a fucking job. Does that mean that I wanted to stay on getting food stamps? No. I continue to look for a job so that way I didn't have to stay on it. A lot of y'all been abusing the system. Y'all been getting these food stamps for years and years and years, selling plates and using it while you're selling your food stamps to other people for cash. And you know damn well that
I'm in agreement with a lot. Sometimes we review certain things, especially where people have been on it for decades and all that time. And it's like they never read a book, they never took a training, they never did a course, never got a certificate, nothing. So pretty much you're relying on it and you haven't really done anything to better yourself. Ultimately, is the sentiment that she was conveying. And I find that to be true in a lot of cases. We're going to leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Again, helps me more than you know. Also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, the more you hype, the more it pushes smaller content creators to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So if you could press the hype button, you press it just like you press the like button. And when you press it, it shows you the points. And yeah, Also, Patreon's link below if you want to see self-improvement content. But until then, I'll catch you in the next video.